The most terrifying are the things in our day-to-day that we assume to be simple and plain. I was in daylight. I assumed safety. I can't tell you the style of the house or the architecture, and I am unsure of the specific location down to the street. But I remember the door. It was charcoal black, textured, and a weathered, worn surface detailed in Gothic accents, flecks of gold, no screen on what I'd assume was the screen door, but uninterrupted cobwebs. You couldn't push your way through without your hand moving through the silky covering of the web, and these looked like they had taken a long time to weave. I remember laughing to myself a little bit, not with nerves at the surprise and not with joy. It was the kind of feeling that you try not to give yourself over to, but you can't help it. A touch of dread with a tinge of curiosity. You like the surprise on an otherwise unassuming street in daylight. More, you appreciate it. Someone looked at the sameness of a pretty little street east of Riverdale and objected. There could only be a kind of character beyond this door which, at the worst, would be a good conversation. You feel like you have the opportunity to be a little like a bit of an imp upon the doorstep, ready to cause a little mischief. I remember feeling no apprehension, but a style of play when I decided to knock and break the well-woven web. No one is going to answer, and the only way the woven web would have been disturbed is if someone had entered and exited recently, and clearly that was not possible, and I'd just mark this down as a no response and move on. How good is your recall when it comes to a dream? You find it comes easy to remember every single motion and feeling, or do you only wake with impressions without the vivid, imprecise detail? And if so, how much of the sleeping life you have lived escapes you? I like something individual to the surroundings, and in a dream, nothing is incidental, but you can't quite grasp how. And I felt like I was straying into more lucid territory. This felt like I was entering into a dream the moment contact was made with the filigree, the account therefore being in my own hands, and how these were my own decisions, not so much complicit, more the instigator. This was my dream of a place I had been for certain, and I was revisiting what felt to me something more than a memory. I had been in the hospital with more than enough humiliation, almost depravity, as a child. There are things. And it burns into your being that feeling sick in a certain type of way is not only familiar, but something to be intimately acquainted with and almost missed, when you don't have a certain kind of trauma and response. This was far more grave than a simple kink. And I would call it far worse of a place than hell, but when there's choice in the act, you can't assign guilt. You're not even in the mood for it. There were things I liked. That I liked in the ease of familiarity I didn't fully grasp until having an adult imagination. I had knocked on this door. Something happened behind it. I wanted to be here. Now, I've been in enough houses by now, not simply in the neighborhood of the dream, to understand that no matter the house and unique features each one has, there are no surprises, only curiosities. We design our spaces individually, but a room is just a room. A door opens. A wall is the space between me and the memory. But I enter of my own volition, my own choice. The interior was cloaked with dark blue paint, with gold accents, at least a century old. Narrow hallway, descending into darkness, and I was more floating through it independently. The tone is autonomy. I am answering a call again, with choice. I wander into a place that is part a study, built like a concentric library with bookcases lining up 3 stories high, accented again in that dark blue, with hints of flecking gold. A circular skylight cracked with starlit flakes, and though it be day in the space, it feels like night, light more feeling akin to phosphorescent rather than torchlight. Something is illuminating this place. I couldn't tell you what, but you feel the warmth of flame. I walk alone into the room, pulled as much as I advanced on my own to be here. To find a man hanging naked, not so much by his neck, and certainly not dead. I recall him feeling like the energy or even locomotion to this place, that he's powering it, the engine driving it. And I can feel the hum of an engine in transit underneath my feet, and I calmly assess that he is the reason. Not so much disarmed by his presence, but curious. He's held in twisted layering of pipes, as like a conductor powering the station, crack and cranny, crevice and mouth, engulfing the pipes, not with artificial opening, but authentically being violated by whatever openings he has on his body. He appears like a dread butterfly in his pose, not crucified so much as more being crucial. I can see a piping penetrating into his ass, and his body is violently shaking, not so much in an obvious way, but quietly buckling underneath. He breathes. The walls breathe. I don't understand if he's being filled or drained. He has no eyes as much as he has 2 more pipes, again, pervasive, and his mouth is wide open, engulfing another pipe, and it's here you can feel a sense of a churning. He is devouring, of a kind that, again, I can appreciate as he does it, with gratitude. And he's guzzling an oily black vapor, remnants trickling out of the pipe and from his mouth, dripping onto the floor below, burning a limitless hole on the floor to dive into. He's held up in a web, and I can hear a woman's whispering in my ear, unintelligible on my shoulder, as I stare up at him. And I find that even as I do not know what she is saying, even with the hair standing up on the back of my neck, I find the feeling familiar and agreeable to whatever it is that she is negotiating with me. I like that I am here. And as I take a closer look at the man held from above, I understand very well that it's I who am the one who is hanging. I've walked into a secret and into a negotiation, and this is a discussion of terms. And I'm watching my own naked body being cracked open, with one more pipe penetrating my cock where I take a piss, and even as I know there's someone hanging up there in pain, that is me. To me, this feels normal, and it's everything outside of this house that's immoral, and the sense of being in control of this is authentic, and I'm the authority in this situation. So even though I know that I am the body powering something of this place that is racked and bent, everything feels simple and plain and direct to me. And though there's a bit of howling in the exit, I wake from my dream not terrified, not out of place, but with a strong desire to find this place again. And the word again makes sense, as I've been here and this place is real. I am the one who broke through that web and knocked on that door. There is always something missing, authentic to the experience, more than a lie. But this house exists somewhere in this neighborhood, and to access it requires unorthodox terms negotiated with the surroundings. And I want you to help me find it.